Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. So I posted up a video on Rumble of me opening the box of my AP5. I explain what I'm going to do for accessorizing with it. And you guys that have joined me on the podcast more often know that I've already covered that enough. What's interesting is there's more stuff coming out about bans and everything else that they're trying to push. Understand that the rifle ban that they passed happened a long time ago before the elections. So they passed one in the House. It needs to go to the Senate. And the Senate is hemming and hawing. I don't know if it'll make it through there. There's pushback already in Washington State. Oregon, to Oregon, where they've had that stupid law where you have to go through 8 levels of hell to get a firearm. They fixed that, I think they're taking it to court, which rightfully so. I'm kind of worried that New Mexico will try something stupid like that because, I don't know anymore that people read ballot initiatives. And when I say that, they usually vote for them. And it's because of the language that's put on the ballot. We need to be way, way more attentive to what the hell we're voting for, because there's a lot of people I don't think that pay attention or care. But this is getting to the point where if you keep voting for stupid, you're going to get it. And this is how they will pass one of those things like what they did in Oregon. For those of you, let me rehash this for you. In Oregon, what they passed is one of the most comprehensive gun control measures I have ever seen on planet Earth. It borders on European gun censorship, okay? And I say censorship because this is a right. What actually happens is they have a right to during your NCIC check, you have to pass one of those. You have to pass a psych evaluation. You have to go through training. You have to apply for a license to begin with to even get one. And then if all that passes, then you can have your firearm. And it has to be, they have magazine capacity bans on anything under 7 rounds, I think it is, or 10 rounds or something. You pretty much, assault weapons are non sequitur anymore in Oregon unless you already had them. That's usually how they get you with these gun laws, is what they're trying to do, long game, is they're trying to choke out the supply, and that the way you can hand firearms down to your friends and family. Okay? So that they're trying to choke off the supply so that there aren't more ever produced. Now, this is where we fight and say, no, we don't do that. This is where Freeman don't ask permission and you do you. That type of thing. Peaceful non-compliance. 3D printing, I think that the gun control issue has been settled since that came out, and that technology has been advancing. There is no gun law on earth right now that's going to stop that technology from supplanting and bypassing any law that says you can't do this. But that's kind of the point of all laws, though, if you think about it. The law is just to keep honest people honest, and bad people in trouble, and give them a penalty accordingly. Now, that's bad in that most of us have our rights curtailed because of the bad dudes. My weapons have never done any of these things. If anything, they would be used to stop those types of mass shootings. What I have seen more and more, and I've spoke about this, and everybody knows this in the 2A community, and it's not the 2% of those weirdos I'm telling you that shouldn't own a firearm, or 1%, or 1% of a percent. It's those damn people that are nuts. How many times have we seen stuff since the COVID stuff has snapped off? Either they've used a car, a knife. There's a stabbing that happened in Idaho, I think is where it is, or something like that, where 4 people were killed in a home. Okay? There's been multiple car crashes where people have driven their cars directly into crowds. One was during Christmas time last year. It's people being nuts. It's not the firearm. And this is where we need to start advocating for what we do. This is part of our culture. Just as much as music or anything else, this is part of the American culture. We need to speak to that. And how do you do that? You advocate for it. I took a new shooter out last weekend. Surprise, surprise. They've changed. My son's girlfriend wants to go shooting at some point, but she's a little nervous, and that's because she's never been around firearms. We're gonna, not just me, Aiden and I, my son and I, will go take her out, and we'll show her a good time and train her on some basic safety. And if she's interested, we'll teach her more. But that's how we win the game. You know, the more bans that come out, it gets to the point where people aren't going to listen. And that's why I've said this, but it makes a lot of sense. Look how marijuana was legalized in a lot of states. People just quit caring. And it became to a point where people just assumed it's part of the culture. That's what needs to happen to the 2A. Now, I saw something today, and I posted it on Facebook, on my personal Facebook. So it's not on the Black Rifle Operators Union, New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union Facebook. You can look that up there, too. But it talks about these cops in Frederick, Maryland, that went in and shut down this business during the COVID crap. Well, politics got involved because this place didn't shut down, and the cops were sent there to pull their license today or this weekend or something like that, something very recently. Now, I have always said I have that hard line of being able to, I know too many law enforcement people to be too critical, but that video sparked a fire in me that I haven't felt in a while. And what I mean by that is the business owner is in this video and he tells the cops, "You're not welcome in my business. You guys tried to shut me down. You're not serving the people. You're just following orders. You're no different than the people that were in other places, in Germany, if you know what I mean." That type of stuff. Now, this guy wasn't belligerent. He wasn't mean. He just called them out. And you could tell the cops felt bad. But we're at that point where we're going to have to start talking to the cops and say, "Hey, dude, you're just following orders doesn't work for me anymore. Because you're just following orders puts you all against us, all of us, not just the bad dudes." Okay? So I fully understand where that man came out and said this, and I totally sidetracked this entire conversation about gun laws and stuff, but that leads down that path we're going to have to face. Is there is come and get it, come and take it, doesn't work with back the blue. And it sucks to say it, but who do you think is going to come and take it? I never thought, and I would like to think, that law enforcement wouldn't be doing that. And that's why you need to make sure you have good sheriffs in the places that you can get them, because that is supposed to be the highest person in the land. So you don't want to piss them off. But you definitely want them to understand that they work for us. Most of them do. But there's laws, especially in New Mexico, that give the governor too much power. And you're damn right, I want every one of those cops, whether they're local or the sheriffs, or they were the state PD guys, because those were the ones I saw mostly trying to do this stuff. Trying to force mask mandates, trying to force you inside and shut down businesses that were their only means of support. Small businesses. There's going to come a time with all these laws that are coming down where there's going to be a line in the sand. Where are you at? And I'm not advocating for either way. I know where I stand. I know where my friends and family stand. I err on the side of freedom for everything. And I cannot understand for the life of me why people want to curtail freedom. Whether it's speech, I don't like Kanye West. I don't care. What he said, I don't agree with. Should he be allowed to say it? Absolutely. Why? Because the best disinfectant for an idiot is sunlight. Make them famous. Let everybody see what's going on. Look what the hell's going on with our president we have right now. We're a laughingstock in the world, and everyone in the United States seems to know it. And they voted accordingly in most places. The only thing that nails us, guys, and it wasn't a loss last election, we won the House. Our Pro 2A guys, I think, did. And the Senate is still in play. But by and far, what we learned was that there's a lot of people that vote in the United States by name recognition or party recognition, and it's usually party recognition. We need to, everywhere it's legal, which I think it is in New Mexico, but I'll double check for ballot harvesting, we need to start doing that. We need to find lists of registered political people. Don't worry about if they're gun owners or not. Be polite, be professional. Get a list from your local county clerk's office, because they will give you that type of thing per party or whatever. And go door knocking when it's close to the next election. And what you need to do is say, hey, if you haven't voted, please remember to vote for this election because this is why, and state the reasons why. The 2A is always on the line. We're always fighting. Every time we think we can relax, we can't. We have to keep going because there are bad dudes that want to take our freedoms away. Like, share, subscribe, be great.